I've stated on a multitude of occasions that The Last of Us Part 2 was spectacular. I think it's an absolutely incredible game, an unnerving experience unlike any I've ever played in my time of playing video games, guys, which dates back all the way to the original Xbox. So I gotta say, I've played a lot of different games, and The Last of Us Part 2 is something really special. Sure, there are things, no game is ever perfect, and this game certainly has its flaws. But I thought that it was absolutely spectacular in many different ways. And with that, guys, one of my biggest criticisms of this title was not so much to do with the story or the mechanics or the crafting or the enemies or the environments. It was actually had to do with when the game actually launched, not having a multiplayer experience, which was supposedly, to come out when the game originally launched. But Naughty Dog decided to wait, and obviously I think it's good that they didn't put out the multiplayer when it's unfinished, because then there would have been a ton of backlash. But I personally, guys, have wanted to, and I try to really preach on this channel that it's really important that if you're planning on adding elements to a title, that being like a multiplayer mode or a campaign mode or co-op modes, you should just wait to launch it until it is all done. That way, after you're done playing the single player story, which in this case, The Last of Us Part 2, of course I would play the story. I always play the story before I play the multiplayer. You would be able to play the story and then you would be able to move right into the multiplayer elements of the game. But instead, since it launched without a multiplayer experience, a lot of people played the campaign and then moved on to other games, and myself included. And so, where is The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer? I know a lot of people have been wondering this, and there's been a ton of speculation, a lot of talk as to when this game or in this game mode is going to be coming out. But I wanted to go ahead and talk about it, guys, and it's going to be all speculation at this point in time. We have not had anything definitive from Naughty Dog stating when this mode, that being multiplayer, will come out. So I want to hear from you guys, though, in the comment section down below. When do you guys think we'll see the multiplayer mode in The Last of Us Part 2? And are you gonna, play it? Are you going to, have you kind of forgotten about it? Just let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll have a real conversation about it. So for me, guys, The Last of Us Part 2, like I said, an absolutely incredible experience. And I think a multiplayer certainly would have kept so many people playing this game. And, there's been a lot of talk that The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer is also going to include a Battle Royale mode, which I kind of wondered how that would work. I think with the crafting and such, that, sounds like that would work out pretty well. But, honestly, guys, I just really wish that they would have added some other modes outside of the single-player campaign upon launching the title. Like, even if it were you going up against waves and waves of enemies with your friends, just kind of PvE. And I think that would have been really great. That would have kind of, taken some, that would have taken up some of your time. Kind of like Gears of War Horde mode, it's something else that you get to play outside of the single player story. And, that would even have been at least nice before the full multiplayer experience came out. But we didn't get anything. And, like I said, that's been my biggest criticism of The Last of Us Part 2, is coming out as essentially a unfinished product. Now, there's been a lot of speculation, guys, that The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer is going to come out in 2021, which we're in 2021 right now, guys. And obviously, I think that there is certainly a possibility we'll get it later in 2021, but there's a lot of people talking that this game mode multiplayer is not going to come out until 2022. There is a ton of speculation on it. There were some things leaked, that being the multiplayer was allegedly leaked. Some of the, a little bit of some gameplay was leaked, guys. And if what was leaked is true to be the multiplayer, I think it looks pretty interesting. I mean, obviously we got to see more, but obviously I'm very intrigued by it. So, where is it at this point? Well, it's obviously, guys, in active development. Now, where they are exactly at this point, how far along they are with the multiplayer is really tough to say. I would probably have to assume that they are, closer to being finished than not. And I mean, obviously Naughty Dog is one of those studios that takes their time with their projects, which I really admire about them. I just don't like it when you release an unfinished product, even if that means modes and such are left out. And, we can compare this to more recently, Cyberpunk 2077 by CD Projekt Red released unfinished as well. Now, that was even worse because of all the bugs and the glitches and things of that nature within the single player story. But not even releasing the multiplayer, once again, I would have much rather just them waited until the full package was completed. So, if you have to ask me, guys, when I believe The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer is going to come out, I would state in normal circumstances, I would say that it should come out later in 2021. I would say Q3 or Q4 2021. But because of the current landscape of gaming as well as just everything going on in our world, guys, with the pandemic and things of that nature, with a lot of these companies that have, are working remotely, their employees working remotely, there's a real good chance, guys, that this could be delayed, significantly longer. When I say significantly longer, probably 6 months to maybe a year longer. You just don't know. And so I would say, guys, if we don't get it later this year, I would say that we're probably going to get it maybe the summer or the fall of 2022. But like I said, my biggest issue is that it released, that being The Last of Us Part 2, released without the multiplayer even being finished, and it doesn't seem like it was even started when it was released. Now, maybe it was, but it was just really unfortunate because I just feel that this multiplayer experience might actually be really good, and a lot of people won't even give it the time of day or even try it because a lot of people might have already forgotten about The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer even coming out. And the same thing can be said with Cyberpunk 2077. A lot of people might not even give it the time of day. They've moved on to other games after they're done playing the single player story, and that's the problem. And I really hope that studios moving forward start to kind of think about those things, because we're talking two juggernaut companies, guys, Naughty Dog and CD Projekt Red, making these mistakes. And I believe that they're massive mistakes, because you really want to capitalize when you have everybody playing the game all at once to have other ways that they can connect with the story, connect with the lore, the multiplayer and such. So it's really unfortunate, to say the least. But from what I've seen so far, if the leaked footage is true and accurate and such, and they actually were leaked images and gameplay of the multiplayer, I'm intrigued, to say the least. But, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? When do you guys think we're going to see The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer? Do you think it's in a limbo state? Do you think it's going to be coming out later this year, next year? When do you guys think, and will you be playing The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more The Last of Us Part 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.